Om Shanti, and welcome to It's Time meditation. Just sit comfortably, relax into your seat, and let's just take a few moments to be with ourselves, turning our attention inwardly, turning our attention to our inner world. Our world of thoughts and feelings, dreams and desires. For a few moments, I step away mentally from everything around me, and I focus on something beautiful inside of me. Right now, I'd like you to find something of beauty inside of you. You might say, I'm strong, I'm kind, I'm generous, I always think of others, I'm appreciative, I have a clean heart. And this aspect of you is that inner beauty. And there's more of that inner beauty. As we sit in meditation, in stillness, in silence, we're able to tap in to more and more of that beauty. And we need to, so that we can give it life. Many times we bury our truth for fear of how it may be perceived. But it's okay to be full of these qualities and live by them, because the world needs it. We need to support the world with these pure, positive, honest qualities. And we have to have the courage to live by it. We need to trust that love wins over hate, that peace will prevail over anger. We need to trust in these qualities. So as I get in touch with each of my innate qualities, I become firm in that identity. And each of those qualities gives me strength and power. As I live by my truth, and I do not give in to the untruth, I become powerful. I become empowered. I become strong. I have self-control, self-respect, self-confidence. like you to just be at peace. Be totally at peace with your drama. There's nothing that you want different. Everything is good. And even if there are a few failures, it's to make you stronger, to make you wiser. So really everything is good, everything is okay. And everything will be great. Just take a deep breath and just sit with this pure feeling. And say silently to yourself, everything is good. I am at peace. I am peaceful. And let every cell of your body hear this confidence. Everything is good. And when you're ready, let's slowly come back to the awareness of the room, of the space around you. Of your drama, and take your next step confidently, secure in your peace. Om Shanti.
Shanti. Good evening and welcome to the Inner Space Talk. Today's topic is me time, and my name is Aruna Ladwa, and I'm with the Brahma Kumaris for the last 36 years practicing Raj Yoga meditation. I'm based at the moment in Kuwait. I've lived around the world, opening different centers, assisting in different projects, and at the moment I'm locked down in London. And London is where I grew up, so I've come back here. And so let's go back to the topic. The topic is me time. So before I get into me time, let us just look at what is the current situation. So the current situation is that we are often feeling that we don't have time to do the things that we want to do the things that we love to do. And as a result of that, we feel stressed, we feel strained, and that makes us even more depressed. So just to get in that little bit of me time goes such a long way in rejuvenating, in healing the self, that then I'm able to give back more to the world. So when we actually talk of stress, right, I have this stick, and normally what happens is if it's a dry stick, right, you keep bending until what happens? You get to the breaking point. If it's a nice live green stick, you won't be able to break it. So what does this metaphor mean? This metaphor means that if I keep myself refreshed, rejuvenated at all times, then I'm not going to break when certain situations come up and they try to break me down. And so for that, I need to keep watering myself. This is what we call as me time, that watering of the self, that nurturing of the self, self-love, self-care. This is what is me time. And so we get to this breaking point, as I said, because we keep bending. We keep adjusting. We are very flexible until we cannot accommodate anymore. And then we just collapse. We have a literal mental or physical breakdown. And so it's just so important to keep making sure that the needs of the body are met and the needs of the soul are also met. So we live in a world that we know is governed by circadian rhythms. Everything in the world is cyclical. So we have a night for this reason, that we're supposed to not do any work. We're supposed to lie down, go to sleep, so that we get some rest, we get rejuvenated, so that we can start the new day with renewed energy. So that's one rhythm, right? One cyclical rhythm. We go to sleep, we wake up. We go to sleep, we wake up. The moon comes out, then the sun comes out, the moon comes out, the sun comes out. And this is endless, right? Has there ever been a day where the sun has not come out? And so in the same way, our eating, we eat and we get hungry. We eat and we get hungry. But when we eat, we don't say, oh, I don't think I will eat because I will only get hungry again. Right? We don't say that. We know that we need to eat because we know that we need to give the body some food. So, what food did you give to your soul today? Just reflect on that question. What food did you give to your soul today? And of course, throughout the day, we don't just eat once, do we? We eat a few times. And so this feeding or nurturing of the soul has to be few times. It's not enough that I just do my prayers in the morning and I say, okay, that's enough. That should do it for the day. Or I visit the temple or any religious gathering. Christianity, Islam, anything. But I need to keep reminding myself throughout the day. In the same way, the tide goes in, the tide goes out. Right? That is another cycle. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. Again, according to the moon. That's another rhythm where it's cyclical. We can't stop the tide. It's going to do its thing. Nature, it's going to do its thing. Then we have the 4 seasons. And at the moment, it's beautiful in spring in London. So lots of blossoms, lots of lovely new leaves. So with the 4 seasons also, again, it's so needed, right? You need the autumn and the winter and the spring and the summer. Each has its own beauty. You can't say one is better than the other. No, one is dependent on the other. If the leaves don't fall off, then how can new leaves come back on in spring? So everything is accurate, everything is appropriate, nature has its own rhythm. In the same way, I, the soul, what is my rhythm? We are so caught up in doing action that we forget to look at who is the one that is doing the action. How are we driven to do the action? Who is actually performing the action? Right? Shakespeare said that the whole world is a stage and we are all simply actors. But I would say we are the actor within the actor. So I, the soul, have taken up this physical costume to play my part. But the problem is I've now got caught up in the costume, as opposed to thinking that I'm just an actor. I'm just an actor. And this is my role at the moment. So when I get caught up in the material world, I'm actually draining my energy because I'm giving so much attention to what is happening out there. And because it's draining my energy, then when I want to do the things that I'd like to do, I want to do, and not have to do, then I don't have the time, or I feel too tired. Even today we were discussing that some people go to sleep at 3 a.m. and wake up at 3 p.m. So they're missing out a lot of that beautiful early morning time in which the energy, the universe, the cosmos is also helping us to really replenish ourselves. So what is me time? Let's look into, we talked about what is going on, why it's necessary. So what is me time? So I've done a number of things because I truly believe in giving time to the self. Because I feel I'm not loving or caring towards myself. I feel I'm being disrespectful to myself if I don't give myself time. And sometimes it's just something as simple as sleep. The number of conflicts that can be avoided if both parties can just get sufficient sleep. Sometimes our tiredness just makes us frustrated and irritated, and then one thing leads to another, and then there's an argument, there's a misunderstanding. So first, me time is just give yourself enough sleep that you feel that you're not working like a donkey, but you're really enjoying life. Like life is exciting. You're looking forward to the day as opposed to struggling. And just honestly, enough sleep can do wonders, because actually it's only in deep sleep that the body can get fully rejuvenated. We call it restorative sleep. Sometimes you can sleep 8 hours, but if it's not deep sleep, you're not really healing the body. It's not helping the body. So nice deep sleep. They say that you should actually sleep in a dark room and let there be a little fresh air and let it be silent. So if you have to wear earplugs, but make sure there is a little fresh air and make sure it's dark so that you can fall asleep. So really that's the first. I know it's an obvious thing maybe, but really get enough sleep in the day. Then I want to say, treat yourself to something nice. So really cook yourself a lovely meal. And sometimes I know that cooking can be a chore, but as I have told many of my friends and juniors, that there's nothing wrong with cooking. Like no cooking is wrong. You just call it a different dish. You just call it by a different name. Because when you actually begin to get creative, then you actually enjoy your own food. It's your energy that's in the food, and you know exactly what you've put in the food. Sometimes somebody will say, yes, I only used a little oil. But maybe it's not so little. What is your definition of little oil? And then which quality of oil? Anyway, you can fall into these areas of you don't know quite what you're eating, but when you make something with love for yourself, it's really an act of self-love. It's like really doing something pleasurable, something nice, something kind for yourself. So of course, cook and feed others, that's nice. But what I'm saying is, if you've got the time, which you probably have now, then go into the kitchen. Like I've got a few nephews and they're also locked down. And so the three of them are being creative and making new dishes. And my sister-in-law is just having a nice break because they're really now enjoying, and they're taking pictures and putting them on Instagram and turning it into an art. So really we have to change our attitude about cooking, and if we think it's a waste of time, again, that's not really being kind to the self, because the body does need food, right? The body does need food, and we need to give the body quality food, not junk food or not fast food. So really, treat yourself with love and make something nice. Even I would say baking. If you don't want to cook so much, but bake a cake, bake some cookies. It's very easy, actually. Just put a few ingredients together, turn the gas setting to the right mark, and really you love eating your fresh, hot cakes and cookies. So really this is something that I've done when I was living in Canada. And that's where I learned to bake a lot, because I wasn't so much interested then in cooking as much as I was in baking. So I got so confident, because actually I made a lot of mistakes. So now I know how to fix those mistakes. So that was a great blessing in disguise, actually. Okay, then I would say take yourself out for a little walk. It could be a long walk, but just me time, just with yourself. Now, when you walk, I want you to walk with that consciousness that I, with my every step, am giving light to Mother Earth. I, with my every step, am giving love to Mother Earth. See, we can't walk on our fours, right? So I can't give love with my hand. Sometimes you bless someone with your hand. But imagine that your feet are blessing the earth, blessing the ground. And so just walk lightly, tread lightly, not hurting Mother Earth. And when you walk, really just try and walk in a very elevated consciousness. What is elevated consciousness? So I'm using the body again, but literally like a puppet. I, the soul, am using the body like a puppet. You know, like you're holding the strings of the puppet, and I, the soul, am the puppeteer. And as you walk, yes, you will look around at the different sights and sounds, but you won't be distracted, because your inner world or your consciousness will be so more elevated than what you're seeing, that you will be excited about what's going on over here. And we call this karma yoga, which is yoga in action. And this could apply to anything that you do. You could even do a flower arrangement or cleaning, anything. It's yoga in action. But I'm asking you to do it while walking, because that is a good way to practice, because at that time you're not having to think much. Say, for example, if you're baking a cake, you have to think of the right measurement. Did I put this? Did I put that? Was it the right amount? 1 cup, 1 teaspoon. So that might be a little difficult at first. But if you just practice karma yoga whilst you're walking outside, then you get into this practice of I, the soul, am using this body. And honestly, you will see the world with a different dimension, with a third dimension. So it's not just the tree, but the tree will come alive for you. It's not just the bird. And here where I am at the moment, anyway, there are lots of peacocks just walking around. And it's such a beautiful sight in the middle of some cars, traffic. the highway, or let's say a busy road, there are just beautiful peacocks. And it's like, it throws you back because you don't expect this in this context. In the same way, when you're walking in soul consciousness, you start to see cloud formations in a different way, the sky in a different way. And even people coming towards you, you'll be able to give them that, this light that you're radiating, this positive, pure light that you're radiating. You will be able to just, as you walk past, they'll take that fragrance from you, and that will be also helping them on their journey. So this is another thing. Yeah, so make time for yourself. This is where I say you have to make an appointment with yourself. It's so easy to jump when somebody says to you, come for a walk with me. And you think, okay, that's great. I'll have someone to talk to. But in me time, I have to talk to myself. I have to listen to myself. What is me saying to me? Am I listening? Am I hearing? I might be hearing, but I'm not listening. And so me time is saying, just slow down, love me, look after me, take care of me. This is what me time is saying. Okay, then we come to actual meditation. And it's so important. I mean, you're talking to somebody who meditates every day, so of course I have to bring this in. But every day, morning and evening, we need to make sure, I make sure that I get some meditation in, because this just keeps me vibrating in a very elevated frequency. And this makes me in tune with the world, with the right frequency. So in other words, I'm tuning in to just the positive, taking the positive and not taking the negative, because there is plenty of negative if you choose. But I don't want to tune into the negative. It's really like a radio channel, right? Do you want to listen to Radio Mirchi? Or do you want to listen to BBC World Service? So you have to tune into that. Either which way, you have to tune into that or that. So I choose to tune my mind through meditation to the positive that's happening in the world. And so I say, okay, let me take the beauty and let me take in people's positive qualities. Because honestly, if we take the negative, then that's what we'll think about. That's what we will digest. And then that becomes a part of our nature. So this is how we absorb other people's negativities. When we look at it, we take it in, and then it becomes our nature. So we start behaving like that, and we think it's natural. And it's not. So meditation, different exercises in meditation. Okay, so one of the ones that I really like to do is you travel in your mind. So for example, I'm sitting right here, but I travel to a beautiful, sunny destination. I'm sitting right here, but I travel to the Himalayan mountains. I'm sitting right here, but I travel to, well, I like forests, but I don't like the Amazon type of forest where there's lots of wild animals. So I'd like to walk through maybe like a Canadian forest where there's beautiful, big, thick trees, but not the fear of animals. So whatever makes you feel comfortable, you take yourself and you just transport yourself there. So maybe you want to sit by a beach. So visualize a beach in your mind. Maybe it's a wide sandy beach, maybe it's a pebbly beach. Decide on how big the waves are. Decide if it's a bay or if it's just the wide ocean. And just go and sit there. And just take in the beauty. And then you will even start hearing the waves in your mind. You'll start feeling the breeze. If you're sitting in a beautiful garden, you just start hearing the birds chirping. And you will take in the beautiful fragrance of the flowers. So travel to wherever you want to travel to create that beautiful feeling inside of you. And then we travel to our inner world. We have to travel to our inner world. And sometimes we don't like to look at our inner world because it's too scary. There's too much to repair, or there's too many scars and wounds, and we don't know how to deal with them. But again, silence and self-love can really heal those wounds. So again, I've done a lot of this work where you just sit with yourself like you would on this couch, and you just feel the feeling. So if something's happening, you just feel the feeling, whatever it is, even if it's painful, but just sit there and just say, okay, I, the soul, am feeling this right now. And give yourself permission to just feel. Because half of the problem is that we don't stop to give ourselves that self-care and attention. We run to others for it. We want others to listen to us, but when was the last time you talked to yourself? So this is what I mean about going inside, looking with this torch, the torch of attention. What is going on inside? What is it that I, the soul, wants? And then if things are not going the way that I want, that's when there's ego, that's when there's frustration, and then, of course, misunderstandings, and I have to explain myself a lot. So if I'm really full from inside, then a full vessel doesn't make a noise when it's shaken. If it's half empty with something and it moves, it makes a lot of noise. But if you fill a bottle, say with pasta, and it's full to the top, even though the bottle may shake, it doesn't make any noise. So the silence is in the fullness. So I have to keep checking my mind to see how full am I? How full is I, the soul? And yes, just generally, what is going on in my inner world? Am I getting excited over temporary things? Or is there really some inner progress going on? Because again, my experience is what makes me happy is not that I get something from out there, but that I attain a certain mastery in the soul. What makes me really happy? is that I've conquered, I've victored, I've mastered, or I've exercised a certain quality, a virtue, when I could have done something else, right? I could have been arrogant, I could have been greedy, but I was generous. So things like this is really what makes us happy. So this is where I need to sit and go inside and check. What do I want? Where am I headed? What is my purpose? I have to ask some big time questions to myself, because that is really what's worth it in the end. Yes, I may get the job, I may get the right person in my life, I may have a big fat bank account, but what is the state of my mind? What is the state of my heart? And if these are not full, then nothing out there, no fullness of outside will be worth anything if I'm not full inside. Like I say, if you're not happy with a little, you won't be happy with a lot. So you can travel out there, you can travel in your inner mind in meditation, okay? The other thing I'd like you to do is, when you sit with yourself, really make a list in a notebook. Make a list of all your qualities and strengths. All your qualities and strengths. Once you've done that, then make a list of all the qualities of somebody that you're finding it hard to get on with. Because it's easy to love those that you know. It's easy to love those who are nice to you. But sit and find time. Because this is the work we want to do, actually, isn't it? We want to be able to get on with everyone. I can't say, no, this person doesn't deserve my love. No, I don't care about this relationship. We can't afford to say that, because when we leave this body, we want to leave in peace. When we leave this body, we want to leave the body in peace. And that means to be at peace with everyone. No hatred and no attachment. So yes, if I'm finding it difficult to work with someone, I'm finding someone a difficult person, then really that's the only antidote in my experience, is to look at their specialities. Because this then turns my attitude around, this then turns my vision around. And then I'm able to really send loving good wishes to them. But it's not even about that. It's not even that they're waiting for my loving good wishes, but I keep myself very pure and clean from inside. And that's what's needed. If I take in somebody's defect, I am poisoning my heart and my mind. And if I take somebody's virtue, then I'm adding to my stock of virtues. And that's what's important. That's what makes me a great soul. And that's where I should be headed. And then, as I said, write not just a list of their specialities, but why don't you try and write a lovely letter to this person. Try and write a lovely letter to this person. And even if you don't send it, it's okay. But just the act of being nice to this person and bringing out your best and maybe breaking some of that ego, humbling up from inside, will help to really smoothen out that relationship. Because that's what we want. We want our life where all our relationships are flowing naturally, harmoniously. Because anytime there's a conflict means there's a block. I can't move, right? Can't move forward. So really, let me melt, and then so will the other person. So that's what's needed. Then I also do lots of other different little experiments when I'm sitting with myself to make my meditation creative. So you could practice being an angel. You could practice being a deity. You could practice being a bestower, a donor. Imagine that you have so much to give. So today you're going to go about giving. And even in your meditation, while sitting still, you can also just travel with your mind and say, today I have so much love to give. I'm just going to give love. I have so much peace inside that I'm happy to share my peace with others. I have such a pure heart inside that I'm happy to share my pure heart with others. My mercy, my compassion. So in this way, we're focusing on the virtues, and that's what we need to do. Because the other time, which is not me time, actually makes us focus on the material. And sometimes we think, what is the point of all that? And so we have to bring a bit of light into what we do. So how can you bring in light to your everyday material life? And that is by exercising a virtue. Because as you exercise that virtue is the light. That virtue is the candle. See, we can't push out the darkness. And you can't say, oh, I don't want to deal with this person. Or, oh, I don't like my mother-in-law. Or, I don't like my boss. Or maybe you can't say right now, I don't like my job, because you have to keep your job. So something has to change. And I have to change. I have to change from inside. And as I make that determined thought to change, then really, if the intention is pure, then everything around me will help me to change. And I just have to be ready for that shift. So I said you can practice being angel, a deity, a bestower. You can also practice being a lighthouse. Sometimes we do this in meditation where you're just standing in one place, but you feel like you are sending light, like a laser beam, like a spotlight. You're just shining very brightly. So you just fill yourself with so much light. Imagine that the body is being filled with so much light and you're just like a radiating light bulb. And you're just radiating light. See, these practices may seem like I'm doing something for others, but it's not. It's really actually energizing me. Because it's, as I said, it's putting me in a very elevated consciousness. And so you can imagine yourself, take anything from nature, like you can imagine yourself as a tree, and you say, okay, I'm the seed, and I have all the potential inside of me. It's dormant right now, but with time, I'm going to nurture it, and I'm going to blossom into something beautiful and majestic, something tall, something strong. And my strength will give shelter to others, shade to others, protection to others. My branches will give home to the birds. My fruits will nourish others. Then you can imagine yourself to be a flower. And again, it's the concept, it's the metaphor, you see. All these are kind of ways in which I can put myself into that beautiful feeling. And that's what meditation does. It shifts our consciousness so that we feel empowered, so that we feel in a positive, enlightened consciousness. And then this last one now, I would like to do the meditation itself, and that is our connection with God. Now, whatever is your concept of God, it doesn't matter. But main thing is, do you feel close to God? It doesn't matter what is your belief. The end result is, do I feel close enough to God? And do I feel that companionship? Do I feel that power coming from God? Okay, so let's just sit in meditation, and I'll just play some music. And I'd like us to really experience. Yeah. So take a deep breath. So I turn inside to my inner world of thoughts and feelings. And I put myself in a good space, a positive, powerful space. And with my full self-respect, with my full honor, I travel to outside this earth, into a region that is called the home of God. God's home is my home. And I love to visit God again and again. He is the one who truly believes in me. I feel that absolute unconditional love from God. I feel the rays of God's light washing over me, and cleansing me of any impurities. It's like God is forgiving me. God, I know that you know my past, my present, and my future. But just stay by my side as I walk this journey. You are the Almighty Authority. You know all the secrets. And I will forever stay under that protective shield. This home doesn't feel new at all. I feel I've been here many times. I open my heart to God. And I tell him the secrets of my heart. Or tell her the secrets of your heart. So just take a few moments now to have a heart-to-heart conversation with God. And notice how God listens compassionately, giving you full attention. And God fills my heart with love. So much love that I have love for every single person in the world. All the 8 billion. So much love. And I feel so comfortable just being peaceful here in God's lap. And when I'm ready, I will return to the world. But fully enlightened, fully energized. And I will return carrying the light of God. So when you're ready, let's fly back down to earth. Back to this room. Back to this seat. And back to the center of the forehead. So I'd like you to think about what it would cost you if you didn't take out me time. We all make time to eat. In fact, we all make time to do the things we want to do. So we need to take time out to just be with ourselves and to really enjoy that space, enjoy the silence, and really get to know ourselves. We're not a bad person. When you start spending time with yourself, you will want to become your own best friend. And that's what's really needed right now, is that inner encouragement, inner empowerment. It doesn't matter what the world is doing, what the world is saying, but I need to charge myself up from inside out. That is the real strength. So thank you to the organizers, Inner Space, Wembley, for having me. And lovely to be with all of you. Thank you for listening from your heart. And look out for more programs that are coming up with Inner Space. Check out their website. And wishing you a lovely life, a powerful life. Om Shanti.